I want to take a moment to really go slow with this so that people get what I mean by it. How I can show animal nature in peaceful people, because I can use my family as an example. I'm going to use my mom and dad for a prime example. When I eat a meal, the food that is going into my body, I try to keep it as live as possible. And I sit silently and I mindfully chew my food, swallow my food, and know that it's actually what is keeping my body in this world around me. When I look out and I see the world, it's the result of what I'm eating and how I think. So I think about what I'm eating while I'm eating. And I don't think that there's much of a point to talk about anything else while you're eating. Like, hey, let's eat. It's time to eat and nourish our bodies. Let's turn on the TV and watch CSI. So you're sitting half contorted with your head backwards, wolfing down plate or like spoonful after spoonful of whatever you're eating, bite of bread, another bite, look back at the TV, something about forensics and something about, homicide squad, watching CSI and then out of nowhere, this is at least an hour after the phone call, but we're sitting there and I'm still in silence, enjoying eating my food. And my dad's watching the forensic and the homicide show. And all of a sudden my mom goes, it makes me wonder why she would go all the way to Waterford already for her dogs needing their shots and then go all the way into Walmart when she could just go in Waterford. And I thought maybe she has something else that she wants to get from Walmart. And first of all, she doesn't need to go anywhere at all. The person they're talking about is a lady who's 83 years old down the road, who's awesome. But she's also confused too. She eats and eats and eats all kinds of stuff, makes 10 things a day, lives by herself, gets food bank twice a week and gives it out to everybody when it sits in her fridge for 5 or 6 days. Nobody needs food like that, and they don't see the point of, don't even worry about making it. Tell the people that you get it from that you don't want it anymore. Therefore, the country fairs and all the places that are giving you their day-old stuff that they couldn't sell somebody so that you can maybe pass it on to somebody when it's old and nasty. The food itself isn't even good. You don't want those sausage patties and those eggs and those whatever sitting there for 2 days. You don't want them. So the whole point is none of it needs to be done. So as soon as she says stuff about, the lady down the road going out to Tops to get more food that she just made 10 things for today, she's going to Tops to go get food. Tomorrow she'll go to the food bank. And 2 days from now she'll go to Walmart. Her fridge is full today. It's not going to be empty tomorrow, but they're going to make stuff just so that they have it in the fridge made so that they can hand it out in a week and then give it out to animals. This is just stupid. So what I said to my mom is, what makes me wonder is while you're sitting here eating, why are you thinking about her and where she's going and where she went for food? Why does that matter to you right now, an hour later after the conversation? She's like, oh, because we just talked on the phone. So it made me wonder, and I'm thinking, like, no matter if it was an hour ago, yesterday, or just now, why wouldn't you be like, okay, and work on controlling your mind? And I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a smartass, but you thinking about somebody else's silly ideas or silly ways of life means nothing. And you're just wasting your mental effort while you're supposedly eating food, nourishing your body, thinking about that. While my dad, next to her, is watching murder and whatever stories. Now think about this. Don't stress and worry about what anyone else is doing, because I offer everybody the truth in a way to relax and ease their mind from stressing. This will answer every problem, because every problem you have is just an idea. You have to get to work on time or you're going to lose your job. Let your job go. You're still alive and you'll be okay. You're out of money. Oh my God. Money is just an idea that we use to get things that we don't need. oh, these people, this is where we stand up for ourselves and change the world around. I'm not going to get into people holding us down, all that kind of stuff, because there are people trying to hold jobs too, and they're having jobs because people want too much stuff, and we're living in convenience, and you got to have burgers today and chicken tomorrow and fish on the next day and some elaborate meal the next day, then have a picnic and a dessert on top of it. All three meals are celebrations, and the dessert is just more dessert, and during the day you eat snack, snack, snack. You get a whole bunch of pop and energy drinks and don't think anything about it. No consciousness at all. Not thinking about nourishing your body, just going, glub, 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 I'm thirsty. Want something to munch on. Oh, thirsty. Want something to munch on. Eat, drink, talk about it, watch negative stuff. And guess what you're eating? A bunch of meat and a bunch of like harmful foods that make you think like an animal. So the stuff you watch, guess what? I don't watch any TV because I don't want to watch people acting like fools doing things that they don't need to do. And look, what I can do 16 flips, or I can stand on stage and sing. Everyone can sing. I can, some better, some not. Some have different voices. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't qualify you for some specialty or anything like that. Someone can tell some jokes, usually about the way the world is falling apart, and people laugh at that. Do you need that? No. But we spend way too much money on time and entertainment when we're the beings inside the bodies, and nobody seems to understand that if they're just not in control of the fact that they think they're their act. The people sitting at the judge stand on America's Got Talent, they're like, oh, I'm sitting here. I'm the judge of America's Got Talent. This is my job. I'm doing my job, and I'm making money to pay taxes. This is a wonderful country. Maybe they don't think it's a wonderful country. I don't know, but either way, they're working their job. They're sitting at their stand, acting like a judge, judging people on things that they don't need to do. This is just for fun, and it's turned into things that people strive and struggle for and cry and everyone has struggles and cries and all that stuff. But we're making a weird wraparound story of idolizing this one and putting this one down. This guy's wrong and this guy's right. This is bad and this is good. There's no real negative things except for, what's hurting people, of course. You don't want to do it. These are words we give it, and these symbols do mean what they mean. But then I move on to my whole family. My brother, he hunts and stuff, my oldest, and he watches, I'm not sure what he watches, but I know he's into, country music and things like that, and that's really low chakra stuff. And then my next brother, he's all about being in the military and watching wrestling and searching for sex, and that's very low chakra stuff. Then my next brother, Mike, he wants to be the best and compete, got to get money. He stresses out real easy and gets easily angered, drinks a lot, gambles a lot, and pigs out when he eats a lot of meat. And he's, stressing about a lot of stuff, all low chakra things. And then you move to me and my chakra's opened. I don't think about sex. I don't worry about it because we're all one being living with an essence inside our body, not worried about my penis going inside a hole so that I can feel good about it, or someone else telling me that I'm awesome or great, or, ooh, you qualify because you have cool things and you like cool shows and you watch violence and you like fast cars and you have a motorcycle, or you're tattooed, or you're blue, or you can tell funny jokes that don't mean anything. People have been so fucking knocked upside the head with stupidity from the stuff they've been eating that they'll never see the point that I'm trying to make because they can't feel it inside them. And when I look at them, I can't help but see my own family and everyone around me as someone who is less intelligent. But they may think I'm trying to put them down, but I'm not. They are less intelligent because they're purposely harming themselves. Are they? Yes. Do they think about it? I don't know. If they do, they should work on fixing it. If they have problems fixing it, I have ways to do it. What makes me stressed out is I could just be left alone by myself, but I'm trying to help them and they don't want to listen to me. Turn off the TV, especially when you eat dinner. Don't sit and watch crime shows, because that reflects what you are thinking inside. And if you don't think so, I don't watch it because I don't want to see it at all. It's not something that interests me. If it interests you, it's either something that you have ingrained and can't get out, or something that you enjoy. And neither one of those is a good thing. If you really think about what I'm saying, you know I'm right. You just don't want to face your own demons. These are the demands that you have upon yourself to cure your bad things. Your demons are the demands you have upon yourself. The other demons are you trying to do what else someone else demonstrated for you to do. Or to demonetize yourself, devalue yourself, to do stuff for other people for money. That's what demon is. You're either doing it for someone else out of wrong, or fighting your own demands that you can't meet because you're afraid to face them. That's what people are doing. I see it around everybody. I see it when my dad, if I hand him something, he'll say, "Ah, God damn it, this damn bolt won't stay still," or like tying a string and see, damn string won't loop over. It's not the string. It's you. And you can't get mad at the string because you're having a hard time touching it. But you get mad at the string because really it's you. You are not just the string. You're the guy who's talking about it. So therefore, if you weren't there, the existence, the comprehension, and the conscious effort of the string wouldn't be there. So therefore, you are the string. And when you're mad about the string, you're mad about yourself. And nobody seems to really get that. That's why I say it's not a big deal. I just want to put it up here and get it it's a place for me to sit in. I'm not worried about it. We're building my thing, my hut. Like, we don't need it to be square, perfectly like a architecturally sound, completely awesome to the T, no mess ups. I want it covered and cover it so that there's no leaking. That's it. Nothing more. Just make a nice, easy thing. But everything he tries to measure this out and measure that out, and I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. We can do it as we go. Instead of thinking about it today, what we're not even going to get to until next week. I don't want to sit here and think about when we get to the window, when we get to a door, what about this, what about that? Like, when we get there, I can't tell you until we have the space already built up and we have now this spot to fill. I'm not trying to worry about building a blueprint. You don't have to do that for a hut. You don't have to do it at all. Worrying about building hotels is something that people do to make money off of other people. Worried about building big, huge, fancy mansions is so people can show off and store stuff they don't need or have luxuries they don't need. And they just don't want to admit that because they don't want to give up what they have to be even and fair to others. It's sad to say, but it's true. And it hurts me to know that everybody I know would do nothing. They wouldn't raise a finger to stop horrible things happening to others if it required effort. And if they say, no, I wouldn't, that's wrong. I'm like, well, you may do it to some people that you may know, and you may watch a story and feel connected to some characters and maybe step up and raise your finger to do something there. But when right now you know that there's horrible shit going on in the world and you yourself have been held down your whole life by a big group called the government. No individual people. There are some individual people, a big group called the government, and a big group that runs them. And it doesn't need to have any names. We just need to start living for ourselves and having no other person, whether they have badges or shirts or special suits and ties and qualifications, no matter who they are, we can't let them push us around. And that's what we have to stand up for instead of saying, yeah, that's what we have to do because, now we're scared of them. Think about it. They don't protect us. It's more like they scare us. Protect. They provide our text. They're like pro-text. They tell us what we do, they tell us what we think, and they try to tell us how we are. But I don't live in that world. Everyone else does. And it hurts to see me. People say that Christ didn't exist. They say all this kind of stuff like, yeah, Christ did exist. There are other existences where this doesn't make sense to you because everything that happened in the past is you doing it right now. If you think that you did something when you were 3 years old, you're going to explain it the way that you think you did it when you were 3 years old. Somebody else would tell it to you the way they did it when you were 3 years old. If someone else tells you their life story, you're going to relate to what they're saying the way you could see yourself doing it through their eyes. You're always the subject. You are Christ. And you fucking people don't get it. And whether it was in flesh and bone, guess what? It was in an astral world. If you've seen anything and if you believe in Santa Claus and you know that Santa Claus lives in the South Pole, even if it's a made-up story, guess what? Those stories are true in a way because they gave you something to believe. You heard it from somewhere. It came to you and you put it forth, or you believed it and held on to its memory for longer. So there's a 3-string thing. Came from somewhere, met you, went on. Past, present, future. That's the big deal about 3. No one thinks about the background. But I'm not going to get into that anymore either. I just want to say that when I watch people sitting down to eat with downward eyebrows and going, and when my brother's here and he breathes real heavy because he smokes and smokes and smokes, and I want to quit, but I'm around him, and I didn't smoke for a long time, but getting back around them, it's not that I have to be like them, but I want to fit in. In fact, I came over and I sat in my truck so I wouldn't be sitting on the porch and have them hand me one. Because if I don't grab one, they hand me one. And I'm like, and if they don't, sometimes they'll say, you want to smoke? And I'll be like, no, I'll wait a little bit. And then in a few minutes, I'll be like, sure. And I don't mean to. It's one of those things where I'm being Dan right now. So what else would I do as Dan? Because you don't want to hear anything that I really do on as my true self and as who Dan is now. They don't want to hear about anything that I do. They don't want to meditate with me after dinner. That would sound weird to them. And I understand. But where do I go from here? And like I was saying, all my brothers, they all do lower chakra stuff because they eat meat and they watch all that negative stuff. And they won't listen to me and understand that that's what causes it. Not because they find it interesting. Do they want to shoot and kill other people? Do they want to be negative and whatever? Do they want to feel like money runs their life? And is it really that thrilling to win some paper? Because your mind believes in some funky numbers? When your own brother has had a divine experience and can tell you what your spirit is going to do after this lifetime. And it's so intense that you don't even want to think about it. And because I'm your little brother or because I'm the son, they don't think I'm being... I don't know how they couldn't... they just don't believe it. But I wouldn't waste my damn time talking about this for the rest of my life if I didn't know it to be. And I'm not a delusional guy. People would just listen to me. They can hear what the hell I'm saying. It's true. But they don't want to hear it. For some odd fucking reason. And that's just beyond me. For whatever reason. They only know. God only knows. The God part of them inside that gave them individual willpower control to make choices that isn't making many choices on their own accord, but they're following along with everybody else. And they think that they're making their own choices. And it sucks. Especially when they're the ones you see as your loved ones. When you love them all, it really sucks because you can't escape from any of it. And when you go back to the people you know most, you still want to help them, but they don't want to hear it. And you don't want to sit and spend all your time sitting and complaining about everything that everyone does wrong or unconsciously, because it's not really wrong. They're still learning. And you would think that after a certain age they wouldn't have to learn anymore, but everyone is just continuously learning. There comes a point where you can teach because you don't have anything else to learn. It's just something to do for fun at that point. Like learning a trade, learning how to do math, that's a skill. It's not a necessity. It's a necessity to socially interact. It's a necessity to count. You don't need math for anything else but commerce and economy. You don't need to know, I have 4 pieces of corn. I have 5 apples. And I have 5. So therefore I can only have, a couple bites of this, now and save some for 2 Wednesdays from now because I have to count. We don't need it. It's very convenient and it's a skill to have, but it's something we don't need, especially when others around us can do it. So we're in a world where we think everybody has to be whatever to be self-sufficient, to learn what everyone else knows, but then we add all kinds of shit that nobody needs and think that that's what comes first, and that's what everyone knows instead of the stuff we should know. What I'm saying is what people should know. What I'm trying to teach is what people should know, and there are some ancient or older practices that do have a lot of things because I was there then too. But everything gets distorted to some degree. Even people that are trying their hardest with the biggest smile on their face and really coming from their heart just have the information wrong. They don't have the message wrong. Like in the earth world, there's wrong information. In the spiritual world, there's nothing wrong with anything. It's just people who don't get it. And it's not going to hurt anything because when you lose your body, you don't have anything to feel or hurt. You just do it again. And you have other things you can do. I don't want to get into that, and I'm going to be done with this talk. So until next time, peace.